made a sale, you paid Printify for the order, but you look at your bank account and realize you're still broke. With so many factors interacting with one another, it's hard to track exactly where the money is. That's why in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how Shopify and Printify work together. I'll discuss how I think about cash flow, and I'll even give you the tool that I personally use every single day to track it in my own print-on-demand business. And before we dive in, I think it's important to say that all the information in this video is based off of my personal experience alone. I am not a financial expert by any means, so if you have further questions, definitely do your own research and talk to a certified financial professional. All right, enough about that. Let's get into it. First, let's define what cash flow actually is. Cash flow is simply the movement of money in and out of your business. Now, you have money coming in from customer purchases, and then you have money going out to fulfilling orders or running ads and even just covering general business expenses. Positive cash flow means that you have more money coming in than money going out. And negative cash flow means that you're spending more money than you're receiving, even if you're technically profitable on paper. That's why understanding your timing and your transactions is really important when it comes to running your financials for your print-on-demand business. To help understand how your cash flow is impacted, I like to break down each transaction into 4 major parts: the customer, Shopify, Printify, and you, the seller. It all starts with the customer. They have to actually purchase the goods. Next is Shopify, and this is critical. Without Shopify, we couldn't even collect the customer's payment to have the transaction even occur. Shopify acts as the processor. They handle the credit card payment and they make the transaction possible. Now, here's where a lot of people get confused. They think that Shopify and Printify are financially linked to one another, but they're not at all. Shopify and Printify are completely separate when it comes to the payments. They're connected for automation. So Printify can see the order and then fulfill it, but money is totally separate. After Shopify comes Printify. Once the order hits, Printify charges you, the seller, to fulfill it. Not Shopify, not the customer, but you. And finally, there's us, the seller. So here's how it works. The customer pays Shopify. We, the seller, pay Printify. Printify then sends the order to the customer, and Shopify eventually pays us the money that the customer spent. It all works in kind of this cyclical loop. But if you don't understand each part of it, it can start to feel like chaos. Here's where it can get a little bit confusing. Shopify can take up to 2 to 3 business days to actually release your funds to you, the seller. And because of this, most people panic. They start to think, what if there's not enough money in my account? What if I can't cover these Printify charges? What do I do in that situation? To better understand this, let me tell you a little bit about my first introduction to cash flow. It was during the first store that I ever scaled. I had just recently started my business, and even though I had a business credit card, my credit limit was really low because I didn't have much of a history yet. Then one of our designs took off. Orders started flying in and we were scaling ads. Everything was really going great, but the credit card, I was paying it off almost daily just to keep things moving, to keep running ads and to keep Printify fulfilling our orders. Meanwhile, Shopify was still holding the money. So the pressure started building and it felt really overwhelming. And it wasn't until I started tracking cash flow that I started to understand truly how businesses work, because I was able to find this really helpful tool, a balance sheet. You can look up the proper accounting terms, but here's exactly how I use my balance sheet. At the top left-hand side of my balance sheet, I have all of the money that I owe, or money that's going to be leaving my business. Now, this is my credit card balances as well as any outstanding ad balances. So from Facebook ads, Google ads, as well as sales tax that I owe, because I may not be paying it right now, but when I go and remit those taxes a few months down the road, depending on the state, I can account for that money leaving my account. So any kind of money that will be leaving, this is where I track it on the balance sheet. So we can think of this as my Printify charges, my ad spend, and other outstanding expenses. At the bottom left-hand side of my balance sheet, this is all the money that's currently coming into my business. So we can think of Shopify payouts, PayPal deposits. We can also put my cash back that I get from my business credit card, as well as any kind of wallets where money that I deposited kind of sits there until it gets removed. Now, to find out the cash flow that you currently have in your business, you then subtract the money coming in from the money coming out, and that will leave you with either a positive or a negative number. If it's positive, that means you're making more money than you owe. If it's negative, it means that you are spending more money than you currently have coming into your business. Now, you can be cash positive or cash negative, and this number is what tells you if your business is running profitably versus losing money, because sometimes everything feels good. Sales are rolling in. We see that our ads are doing pretty well. But if we're not checking and tracking our numbers, we could find out a few weeks later that our cash flow has actually been negative. And that's not where you want to be. And the reason that I say this is because I've been in that position before where it feels like everything's moving along really smoothly. And I assume I'm making all this money because I'm looking at the data and the analytics. But when you're not tracking it and looking at this daily or weekly, you can find yourself going at the end of the month, panicking and wondering, oh my gosh, where is there a hole in my business? Where am I spending more money than I should be? And instead of knowing those numbers where you can make decisions really easily and spot where there's an issue, instead you have to rip everything apart, dig through transactions, go through credit cards to find where exactly money was leaking from your business. Now, I don't say this to scare anybody. I say it because of the fact I don't want anybody to be put in that position because I've been there before and I know it is not fun. So if you want to grab my free balance sheet and P&L tracker so that you can keep a close eye on your print-on-demand financials, just click the link in the description below and I'll email them straight to you. I highly suggest grabbing them. They're super easy. Hopefully the balance sheet and P&L help you out as much as they've helped me over my print-on-demand career. Now, one question that I get often is, can I just wait to push the order to Printify until the Shopify money clears and hits my account? And I want to say technically, yes, we could do that, but practically it becomes a little messy. Now, let me explain. If the order comes in on Friday, then the payout isn't going to hit until Monday, maybe even Tuesday. That's a whole weekend and 2 days where nothing is happening. Your customer is not getting any updates, the printer can't start production, and you risk the delays and then having negative reviews or impacting the customer's experience. Because again, if it's happening on a Friday and you're not pushing that order until, let's say, Monday or Tuesday, it's going to take another typically 2 days for that order to be shipped out, and then another 5 days beyond that. So unless you're being really clear with your customer saying, hey, it's probably going to take a full 2 weeks for you to receive this order, I just don't suggest doing it. I think having a balance sheet and keeping a really close eye on your cash flow is going to be the best experience for yourself as well as your customer. Now, I want to shout out to Printify for sponsoring today's video. And maybe you've been wondering why this video is about Shopify and Printify. It's because they've been a huge part of my print-on-demand journey. From starting print-on-demand in 2020 all the way up now to 2025, Printify has been my fulfillment partner. And what I love the most about Printify is that they have the best pricing, which helps a ton when it comes to cash flow, especially early on in your journey. They have helped millions of sellers connect to print providers all around the world. You can sell everything from sneakers to mugs to t-shirts to even home decor. What really stands out is how much control they give you over your business. Now, you don't just get assigned to a printer, you actually have the option to choose. Printify lets you compare printers by their cost, their speed, and even their reliability ratings on their platform. That flexibility matters because better decisions here directly impact our profit margins. So click the link in the description below and use WeScale to get your first month of Printify Premium for free. Now you know cash flow isn't just about sales. It's about timing, planning, and tracking. Use the balance sheet, watch your payouts, and treat this like a real business, because it is. Now, if you want to download that free balance sheet and P&L tracker, just click the link in the description below. I'll send them right over to you. Other than that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, you're looking for more Shopify related information about print on demand, then please like and subscribe to my channel. It would absolutely mean the world to me. Other than that, thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video.